okay?
Clearly, Marvel learned the correct lesson from Age of Ultron, which was to spend a good chunk of the movie on Hawkeye's farm.
Good job, Hawkeye. Go get your arrow.
But he's got two more in his hand right there. I mean, if he hadn't sent her to get the one she just shot, he would have witnessed the dusting in person, which would have saved a lot of confusion.
Congratulations. Fair game.
Tony sure did glue himself right up after getting the stabbed out of him by Thanos in the last movie, didn't he? I know he's got some pretty rad Flex Seal in his suit, but that seemed to work more on spaceship hulls than internal organs.
So the fuel cells were cracked during battle, and we figured out a way to reverse the ion charge and bought ourselves about 48 hours of flight time.
You've been on this ship for 22 days. According to the Avengers space travel rules, you should have been able to go from Titan to Earth roughly 60 times. Didn't I see this ship go through a bunch of Mario warps in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and later in this movie? You couldn't find any of those. And if you knew that you could only get 2 days of flight time, why'd you even take off at all?
What it looks like. Well, you know what it looks like.
A convenient excuse to briefly show off Captain Marvel's interstellar powers, only to marginalize her for most of the rest of the movie? Because space isn't actually that big when you think about it. Captain Marvel finds Tony with no effort. Also, great reveal and all, but what's taking Carol so long? She doesn't know how much oxygen Tony has left, right? It's even gotta last the whole trip back to Earth.
World governments are in pieces.
Yep, leaders of the free world, powerful financiers, and tech giants, they're all crumbling. But we're only going to show the MCU characters that were dusted on those screens, since we know what side of our bread is peanut butter.
Tony, I'm gonna need you to focus. And I needed you.
Whoa, this is way too early for a protagonist fight amongst themselves before the climax of the movie cliche.
We lost. And you weren't there.
I'm sure Tony's on some good drugs, and I know he's pissed, but he also knows that Cap was with Thanos on Earth, right? Sure, he's maybe referencing their stupid rift after Civil War, but that didn't impact the events of the last movie. I'm just saying the emotional stakes for this scene are built upon a throne of lies.
How do we know it's gonna end any differently than it did before?
Because before you didn't have me.
Hey, new girl. Everybody in this room is about that superhero life.
Did you not just see her fly into space and bring back a whole goddamn spaceship on her own?
Where the hell have you been all this time?
There are a lot of other planets in the universe.
Marvel fanboy subreddit arguments. Also, Super Cap isn't wrong, but didn't Earth just have this massive power surge that's never been seen before, and she had to wait for Fury's page before she even thought about investigating?
I like this one.
If Thor now requires a visit from an alien super being to get his god boner working, it's gotta be a tough act for Jane to follow in the next movie.
Okay. Who here hasn't been to space?
Rocket waits to ask this question until after they're already in space. And why even ask, if not solely for the audience to remember who's been earthbound in the MCU?
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it will. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't.
Logic. Insert the first of many MCU fan orgasms here. Seems like Thanos could have just gone out here and not worried about what happened in the rest of the universe. This makes his whole snap out 50% of the population thing seem extremely hollow. I mean, can he feel balance?
Well, he used the stones to destroy the stones.
Oh. Also, villain exposits villainous plan, even though it's after the villainy cliche.
My father is many things. A liar is not one of them.
Thank you, daughter.
Geez, you both have names, assholes. You certainly don't have to keep addressing each other by your familial relationships. I would have removed all the sins from all the previous MCU films if the Russo brothers actually ended the movie here, Sopranos style. Can you imagine? Sure, a lot changed after half the population disappeared, but the main problem was the surplus of boats, as you can clearly see. That goddamn boat problem has driven people nuts low these past 5 long years.
My job, his job.
Movie thinks this is inclusion, but it's not, until an LGBT person is out there with the rest of the Avengers saving the world alongside them. This rat, this mother-f***ing rat, this goddamn mother rat is responsible for the entirety of this goddamn mother movie. The departed rat should get an honorary Oscar relative to how ridiculous this mother rat is. This rat in its rat ass! How many people work in this storage facility office? I'm guessing not many. So do they really need a coffee maker and the separate thermos? And holy that's a ton of cream and sugar.
Hey, kid! What the hell happened here?
Adobe tech support.
Nat, it's an earthquake under the ocean. We handle it by not handling it.
I guess I could say this a million times, but movie has time for this.
If I move on, who does this?
Cap? Rhodey? Some person that you vet and hire as a manager? Why does Nat have to do this job? It's not like she's imbued with superpowers. She's apparently just a very efficient executive, and there've gotta still be thousands of those on Earth.
I used to have nothing, and then I got this job, and I was better because of it.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Sure, the island wasn't perfect, but Ghost World, Lost in Translation, and The Prestige are goddamn classics.
I think we both need to get a life.
So besides these support groups, what's Cap been up to in the last 5 years? He's not avenging at all? Like no wars have broken out among the world after a super traumatic event? No other alien threats have popped up? You're saying this character, whose sole focus is making the world safe, hasn't been fighting for jack?
We met a few years ago?
The first thing that Scott did when he got back was to track Cassie down, but he immediately abandoned her as soon as he made contact. I know he wanted to get to the Avengers and all, but he couldn't take her with him?
We have a chance to bring her back, to bring everyone back, and you're telling me that you won't even...
That's right, Scott, I won't.
Well, that's it, right? I guess they could try Banner, who's the only other human in existence with a PhD, but otherwise they're
Mommy told me to come and save you.
My guess is that Mommy isn't anywhere near this place. You couldn't even get Gwyneth Paltrow in a sound booth to say, "Tony, dinner's ready," to make it even seem like she's at that house right now.
But then I start looking at him as the cure.
You mean because Hulk started writing new wave tunes on his lunch break?
Love you tons.
I love you 3,000.
One of our writers here is just petty enough to mention that he's been saying a very similar phrase to his child for years. And the fact that Marvel co-opted it means that that kid now associates it with the MCU. So I hope they're happy with the collateral damage this movie has caused with real people.
Scott, fire up the van thing.
Firing up the van thing apparently merely requires opening the back doors of the van.
This doesn't feel right.
What is this?
What's going on?
Movie will proceed to have Hulk bang on some keys and tug some wires while Scott's going through all these phases of his life, because this sensitive section about finding a way to bring back half the world's population needs to be treated like a zany-ass situational comedy.
It's awesome.
Brody, careful on re-entry. There's an idiot in the landing zone.
Okay, first off, we know Nebula has no sense of humor, so she's not trying to be funny. Second off, since it's not a joke, I don't know why she feels the need to tell Rhodey this at all, because it doesn't have any bearing on his landing. Third off, is Scott technically in the landing zone? I feel like he's not. Why didn't they take the Benatar all the way to New Asgard just for this sight gag? This makes as little sense as Ben Affleck trekking by foot to track down Aquaman in Justice League.
You shouldn't have come.
Where has she been this whole time? She evacuated the Asgardian ship during the Thanos attack and I guess just hid somewhere? Did she come to Earth but decide not to help in Wakanda?
Just say that.
Voldemort?
I know that guy might scare you.
Why would I be?
Even if Thor is perpetually drunk, he would notice that Hulk and Banner have merged, right? The last time he saw Hulk was on f***ing Sakaar, and the last time he saw Banner, he was Banner.
Goodbye. There's beer on the ship.
This works.
I'm not ready for this. I'm game.
Did they even vet emo Jason Bourne before officially adding him to this team? He's been straight murdering for years, but sure, let's throw him into the super dangerous time machine as the initial test subject.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, what kind of doctor was he?
How long are they spending on this plan, and why couldn't they have been working on this while Tony and Rocket were building a time machine?
Nice place in the village, though.
You on Sullivan Street?
Bleaker.
I know it's been 5 years, but Tony called Dr. Strange the Bleecker Street Magician earlier, and it's weird he'd forget this detail.
If you pick the right year, there are 3 stones in New York.
Shut the front door.
Just when I think the movie's dialogue can't get any more rope, here come the Guy Fieri quotes.
You promised to bring that back in one piece, right?
Yeah.
Sure, we're sending one of the only characters that hasn't been to space, even during the trip to kill Thanos, on the extremely important mission to space.
But I need that stone and I don't have time to debate.
Actually, you do. It's the movie that's telling you that you don't. But you have all the time in the world to get this stone, since changing the past is impossible and you aren't on a timer. I grant that the other two might be, but this one is not.
Let's start over, shall we?
Sure was nice of the Chitauri to stop their assault on Greenwich Village while these two chat for a while, wasn't?
Chop, come on, we're on the clock.
All that is really helpful.
You know, Quill at least had his Star-Lord mask on when he came through here in the first Guardians movie. But the air is perfectly breathable outdoors now. Weren't they sent here with masks that could be super usable right now?
We're not the only ones in 2014 looking for the stones.
Man, you couldn't mention this before you started this mission?
If it's all the same to you, I'll have that drink now.
Oh, I love it when they play the hits, especially when they're note for note. Do Puny God, or Shawarma. Oh, and that guy's playing Galaga, always brings down the house.
Take the stairs. Hate the stairs.
Seems like you could just wait for the elevator, or do some gnarly Hulk to get down to the ground faster, but what do I know? Another interesting thing about the Tesseract, it's in Asgard, where Thor and Rocket are right now during the events of the Dark World. Heimdall is apparently guarding it, so maybe they can't get it, even if pudgy Thor requested it. Might have been interesting to discuss it, though, before he left.
Bucky is alive!
F***ing Bucky.
Because once we're done with the stones, we can return each one to its own timeline at the moment it was taken.
God damn it, they were literally making fun of
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure
when talking about time travel earlier, but this is almost the exact same plan in reverse.
Run diagnostics. Show me her memory file.
We interrupt this Endgame movie for a real-time look at a visit from the IT department.
What's that reflection? Amplify this more.
Zoom and enhance cliche. Dude, isn't Rhodey wearing War Machine armor? Wouldn't that be much easier to penetrate this ball sack of energy?
I wasn't always like this.
Me either.
I used to look like the dude from Hustle and Flow. Is this seriously how Nebula records and transmits information? So you're saying that she didn't get a recording of any of the visuals around Thanos, but just Thanos himself? And the projection of those images only shows from torso up?
There's another way to retake the Tesseract and acquire new particles.
I reiterate, the very thought that they could get extra particles should have been one of the first things they thought about.
Military installation, Garden State. When were they both there?
Jesus Christ, I didn't realize how much of this movie played the pronoun game in completely unnecessary situations. I guess after you get the Soul Stone, you have to spend a day or two working as a precog.
Yeah, no, you're acting like she's dead. Why are we acting like she's dead? We have the stones, right?
CinemaSins haters may think that Thor would be excellent at CinemaSins, but he'd be terrible at CinemaSins. Littering. Everyone's gearing up and but Hawkeye's got his bow ready to go? What the f*** is that gonna do? It's really a shame that Nat's not around to intimidatingly cock her gun. Did Thanos set his missiles to stun or something? I understand the folks in armor and Hulk taking the blast, but there should be a dead raccoon and a dead mullet among the wreckage right now. The odds of Hawkeye finding this immediately are about as high as me reaching an orgasm after downing my last Xanax. Nice, Thanos figured if the missiles didn't work, these alien demon dogs should finish him off. No need to immediately deploy the ground troops to the wreckage.
Find the stones. Bring them to me.
I've missed 2014's Thanos, who constantly outsourced stone gathering, despite all 6 of them being within arm's reach.
Oh, hey. I know you.
So here's the most valuable resource in the universe, part of which killed my beloved partner. Shh, no need to talk, just take it and do with it as you please. Punchy, punchy, kicky, kicky. None of this means anything because I can see there's over 48 minutes left in the movie. Yawn. It's at this point in the fight that you could make the case Tony's been unconscious for a comical amount of time.
What I'm about to do to your stubborn, annoying little planet, I'm gonna enjoy it very, very much.
Cole.
On your left.
I'm wondering, how did Sam know exactly where this Doctor Strange portal was taking him? What's even funnier is it's not even Sam who shows up through the portal, it's Black Panther and friends. Sam Falcon doesn't even show up for another 30 seconds after his classic on your left line.
Cap! What do you want me to do with this damn thing?
I don't know, but your instinct to carry it through an active battleground seems like a pretty strong start, so thanks for taking the initiative.
Rain fire! But silent. Our troops, just do it!
Evil bastard villain doesn't care if he kills his own troops in battle cliche. Oh, so she got wind of this battle, but in Infinity War she was occupied with some other mission that kept her from helping the last time. Got it. It's all a matter of if you have spare time, I guess. Ebony? Nah.
Everybody wants a happy ending, right?
AI ration. Movie contains only this much Ned. Also, are you telling me this is the first time Peter has interacted with Ned since he came back? They waited until they got back to school?
What do you want?
Cheeseburgers?
You know, your dad likes cheeseburgers.
I don't care how adorable it is, product placement is product placement. Oh man, I bet now they wish this handshake was about not doing Men in Black International.
Get him the hell back.
Yeah, so I'm trying.
Sam.
So clearly Cap told Bucky his plan before he left, but how did Bucky know where to find it? And how the hell did old man Steve get in position for his Taster's Choice moment?
How does it feel? Like it's someone else's.
It's cool that Steve's giving his shield to a friend, but Falcon's not Captain America, right? He's a very good Falcon.
I figured it out.
And then all of a sudden...
Yeah.
It.
Out.
I am inevitable.
You're a loony.
Consider me a guide.
Oh, good. You tell us where it is, then we'll be on our way.
Would that it were so simple.
Show me again the power of the darkness, and I will let nothing stand in our way. Show me.